Ready?
Ready. What do you do at the start
Just
though?
follow me.
Okay. All right.
So what do you think, Chad?
I am convinced this will be at the marriage supper of the Lamb. And if not, we'll make it.
He's so cute. Hello, friends. Welcome to Cook at Home with Elaine. I am so excited to share this experience with you guys today. I have my wonderful nephew, Chad, with me, and he wants to learn how to make gumbo.
Yes.
So I said, you know what, let's do it. And we took a little happy vote for Thanksgiving, and everybody voted for gumbo instead of the traditional Thanksgiving dinner. So I am going to teach Chad today how to make gumbo so that he can go back home and make it for his family. And I'm so excited that he and his wife Melissa and their precious little baby boy Bennett are spending Thanksgiving with us this year. And they live on the other side of the United States, but I'm so grateful that they made it a point to spend Thanksgiving with us this year. So thank you all for being with us.
We are so happy to be here.
No, it's a blessing. Thank you, Jesus, for wonderful family. So anyway, okay, let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is flavor the broth and let that get going, and then we'll be back to chop some vegetables. So I've already filled my pot with water, and now we're going to just start adding the different seasoning to the pot behind us. So we're going to go ahead and turn our burner on high so that our water can start heating up. And we're going to start with adding our Better Than Bouillon chicken base. And you guys know that's my favorite bouillon to use, is the Better Than Bouillon and the chicken base. So this is a really big jar that I got from Costco. And so I won't be using this whole jar in here, but I'm going to use quite a bit of it. So maybe half we'll put in here. Okay, there we go. And then I'm just going to dissolve this in my water. So now we are going to add garlic powder, and we're not using garlic salt because the bouillon is already salty.
Right.
So we're just going to use garlic powder and just season the broth here with some garlic powder. And as you can tell, I don't measure anything. I just dump.
You can already start to smell it.
It smells wonderful, doesn't it? No, this is going to be so good. Okay, and now I'm going to add some crushed red pepper, and you can make it as hot as you like, okay? So you can put a little bit or a lot. We like it spicy, but I know Melissa doesn't particularly care for a lot of spice, so I'm going to put a little bit, and then we can add additional spice at the table, okay? So I'm just going to sprinkle some red pepper flakes in here, and that looks like a lot, but it really isn't, okay? So don't get nervous. Okay, and then I'm going to add a little bit of onion powder, and again, not onion salt, onion powder, okay? So just sprinkle that in there. And then I will add a little bit of black pepper, not a lot, because we do have the red pepper. And then I'm going to add Old Bay because we are adding seafood. We're adding king crab and shrimp, and Old Bay takes seafood to another level of flavor. If I was not adding seafood and I was just making a chicken and sausage gumbo, then I would not be adding the Old Bay, okay?
Okay.
But I'm going to go ahead and add that in because we are adding seafood. Okay, and then we're going to add the Tony's Creole seasoning. And this is also salty. So you'll notice I'm not going to be putting any other salt, no table salt in here at all.
The bouillon has salt, and then that has some.
Correct. So you don't want it to be too salty. So I won't add. And again, once we think we're done, we can always taste the broth. And if we need to add more at that time, we will. And then because I didn't have a lot of the Tony's left, I'm going to go ahead and just use Cajun seasoning just to add a little bit more flavor to it. Okay? And again, we can add stuff down the road if we need to. So there's our broth, and that's what we're going to start with at this point. So now we're going to start on the roux.
Now the roux's the most important part, right?
Correct.
Okay.
It is the heart of the gumbo, if you will. Okay, so I'm just pouring some regular vegetable oil in my pot, and I don't want to use like olive oil or anything like that. I'm just using regular vegetable oil. And then to that, I'm going to add flour. And I'm going to show you how I don't really measure. It's just a consistency that I'm looking for. And the thing about this is you want your roux as brown as possible without burning it. Because the browner the roux, the richer your gumbo's the flavor will be. Okay?
So it's a fine line there between perfect and burnt.
Correct. And it's just a matter of just letting this. Now see how it's still pretty liquidy? So I'm going to add a little bit more flour. And I mean, if you wanted to measure it, you could do equal parts of oil and flour. Why don't you go ahead and stir this? I'm going to let you do that. And then we'll see if we need to add more flour. And do you see what that texture's like?
Right.
Why don't you just dab in a little bit more flour? Just shake in a little bit more. Perfect. Oh, you know what? Let me get you a glove. Will it?
It's not hot.
Oh, it isn't? I love it. Oh, my word.
Welcome to Cooking with Elise.
I love it. Oh, my word.
So this is like very, it's like not
Pasty.
Yeah, I was gonna say pasty, but almost creamy. But
yeah, and
mix.
You know what? In looking at that for the amount of gumbo that we're actually making, I think I want to make more. So let's add a little bit more oil and a little bit more flour. How's that? I think there we go. And then that is the consistency that we just had is kind of like what we're looking for.
Okay.
Yep. And then we'll just cook it till it gets nice and brown. Okay, let's add a little bit more flour. Perfect. Yes, there we go. That's it. That's what we're looking for. So we're going to let that get nice and golden brown. All right, so now we're going to chop the vegetables for our gumbo. So I'll have you chop these. I have 2 white onions, and this is how you're going to do it. You're just going to go down this way first. And you don't have to worry about getting it, like extra fine or anything like that. It doesn't matter because it's all going to cook down.
Just minced.
Yep. This wants to slide. But yeah, and it doesn't even matter because it's all going to cook down anyhow. Okay?
Got it.
So there you go. So I'll let you do those while I start on the green onions. And we've already washed all of our vegetables. And I'm cutting a lot of green onion because we will be putting them in the gumbo, but then we also like to put fresh green onion on top of our bowls when we serve it, just to give it a freshness. It's so wonderful. Isn't this fun having my nephew with me today?
This is
what
great.
A wonderful gift.
I'm loving it.
It is so great. Oh, one of our little things fell. This is going to be a wonderful Thanksgiving memory. I'm so grateful. Okay, so there's my green onions, and I'm just going to cut them in half and bring these up here with this so that I just do one cut. And it doesn't matter, again, if you wanted to chop these really fine, you could. Now, I'll tell you, if it was my mother doing this, she would be cutting everything really fine. But I'm like, you know what? As long as it tastes good, who even cares? It doesn't matter. But oh my word, the freshness I can smell of these green onions is amazing. And Chad's doing such an awesome job over there on the onions.
I'm getting emotional. Oh wait, that's just the onion.
I love it. Oh, that's so great. Okay, and then we have a couple more green onions to do here. So I'm just gonna cut the ends off. Boy, this would be nice, Chad, to have you here with me every time. A little sous chef. How wonderful would that be for me
You
to
know,
have help?
I help every once in a while.
You're wonderful. I'm so grateful. I have so many wonderful memories in life with Chad, and he's just near and dear to my heart. I'll just tell you that for sure. And he knows that. For his graduation, what was your graduation?
It was,
right?
yeah, 2009.
Yeah, so his graduation gift was my husband and I paid for a trip for Chad to go to New York City. So
we had a time of our life.
Oh, it was so wonderful. And my husband was supposed to go, and of course, Jessica and Renee, but my husband's job had something going on, and at the end, he couldn't go, whatever. So it was just myself and Chad and the girls. And oh my word, you guys, we had the best time, and I have so many wonderful, wonderful memories from that trip. We laughed so hard. We laughed till we cried. Chad is hysterical. He would be hailing these taxis, and then they would just drive right on by us, and I would just bust up laughing, and then he would just say something like, oh yeah, well, we didn't want to ride with you anyway, or whatever.
Right.
We had the best time. And then we enjoyed all the shows and the good food, and our hotel was in Times Square. And there was a McDonald's right across the street. And bless his heart, he would go and get us breakfast, or if we wanted a late night hamburger, whatever, there would go Chad across the street to get us food. He is just an angel. He is so precious.
We had a great time. That was a special, special time in my memory. I really enjoyed that. And we got to go to Tavern on the Green before that closed down.
Yes,
in
we
Central
did.
Park.
Yeah,
really neat.
yeah. That was really a great memory too, that we have, that we were able to go there in Central Park before they closed down. And then we did a carriage ride in Central Park. Central Park was beautiful, by the way. It was so, so pretty. I just have so many wonderful memories with Chad. He's just a little sugar muffin. I just love him to pieces. Okay, so now I have Anaheim chilies. That on these, all I do is just cut the top off, Chad. I'm not going to cut these because these are just for flavor. And
so we're not de-seeding them or
nope. So
off.
I'm leaving all this in, and I'm just going to drop them in the pot, and they're just going to help to flavor our broth. Go ahead and dump those in the pot, and that's great. And then you might want to, oh good, perfect. He's back there stirring that roux, because you don't want your roux to burn. You just want it to get to that nice chocolate brown color. So while he's stirring that roux, I'm going to go ahead and cut up one bunch of parsley, and I'm using regular parsley. I don't use the Italian, okay? So this is just, and again, a rough chop. It doesn't have to be chopped fine, because this is just going in our broth to flavor it. So Chad, I'm just cutting up this parsley, and it's just one bunch, and I'm just rough chopping it. It don't matter, because it's just going in. Okay? All right, let's just dump that in the pot. Just gonna dump that in too. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so we got the vegetables in the pot.
Now that's looking colorful and beautiful.
So now we're just going to add our chicken into our broth. And you want to always use bone-in, skin-on. And whatever your family likes, if you guys like dark meat, you want to do thighs, or, white meat, chicken breast, whatever, you can just do that. For sure you want bone in, skin on, because that also is important to flavor your broth. Chad, what do you and Melissa like? You guys like dark meat or white meat?
We
What's
like
your
both,
preference?
actually. Yeah, both. I like dark meat. I feel like it's a little more tender.
Agreed. All right, so I'm going to add in the sausage. And Chad, I just literally just open these up and just dump them in the pot. Okay, that's it. And these are the Hillshire Farm Beef Little Smokies that I'm adding right now. And again, you can add as much or as little as you want depending on how many people you're feeding. Our family loves these, so needless to say, we're putting in quite a few. As Randy says, you can't get enough of these, so we loaded it up.
Oh, yeah.
Chad's going to enjoy this too, right, Chad?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So there we go, and then the last pack. And I like to get all the sausages smoked because I think it definitely, I know it adds flavor to this. So I'm just dumping all those in. Chad, now I'm going to have you go ahead and cut these up. So this is the Farmer John Hot Louisiana Smoked Links. You're going to just cut these in rings, and then we're just going to add it to the pot. You like hot sausages?
Yes.
Okay. So then let's just add a bunch. How's that? Let's do that and see what that looks like. And then if we need to add more, then we can.
So by rings, you mean just...
Yep.
Okay.
Just like slices, I guess I should say. There you go. And then we're just going to... Perfect. See, Chad, you're going to be a pro when this is over.
I am loving this.
This is so great. And I love it because it's just all in one pot. And you just have your gumbo pot and your rice pot, and that's it. It's wonderful. So Chad's putting in the Louisiana hot links into the pot. Okay, and we're working on this roux to get it a nice chocolate brown. I turned the heat down a little bit because I don't want it to burn or cook too fast. So I just turned it down and I'm just literally scraping the pot. Chad asked me a question. He said, do I need to make the roux in a cast iron skillet or can you make it in another one? And I personally prefer cast iron because that's how my mom did it. But you can make roux in other skillets as well. But I do personally prefer the cast iron. But you have cast iron, right?
Yes.
So that's good. Okay, so see how this is browning?
Yes.
We started out and it was,
And it's thickened up.
Yep. It
so
certainly has.
That original texture is what you're looking for to get it to the right consistency, and then it cooks and it changes into this.
Yep. And let me tell you something. This makes all the difference in the world. And see how it's just getting browner and browner as we go?
Right.
And I'm just looking for it to get a nice chocolate brown. And it's almost there. And then we're going to put it in the pot. And you got to be careful because when you add this to the pot, it pops all over the place because this is so hot. Yep, and the oil hitting that water.
Okay, this is what you were saying, the gumbo filet.
Yes. And there's different brands, and I don't have a particular favorite brand, to be honest with you. What gumbo filet is just ground sassafras leaves.
Yes.
So
So it's getting close.
Yep. So little Bennett saying hi to everybody. Yes, him's the best boy in the world. This is my sweet little precious Bennett. This is Chad and Melissa's little miracle baby. Is he not perfect, you guys? Look at the goodness of God right here that I'm holding. He is so, so sweet. And he's such a good baby. Huh, buddy? Are you the best baby boy in the world? You see your daddy over there? Do you see your daddy over there? Say hi to everybody. Say, I'm a blessing from Jesus. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I'm an answer to prayer. Yes, I am. He is so sweet. This little guy, since he's been here, he's had mashed potatoes and gravy and cream of chicken soup. So he's learning how to eat really good. Huh? And that food is way better than baby food, huh? Yeah, he's like, I want the good stuff. Everybody else enjoys it. Everybody else enjoys it. Oh, he is just precious. Probably like a Hershey bar is a little bit darker in color than this, but that's what you're looking for. Okay, so I'm going to turn this off, and then now I'm going to add this roux to the pot. And then we're just going to stir it in. Okay. Be careful not to burn yourself, okay, as you're stirring this. Okay, so now we're just going to stir in that roux. And look at that. That looks so good.
Delicious.
Okay, now what we're going to do, this is when I add the gumbo filet, okay? So I'm just going to sprinkle this in here pretty generously. Okay, and then I'm just going to stir it in. So after, not that there's any rhyme or reason, I don't think it matters, but I've always just put in that gumbo filet after I put the roux in. Okay, and now we're just going to let this boil until the chicken is done. And then once the chicken's done, we're going to taste the broth to make sure it's seasoned enough. And then at that point, if we need to add anything, we will. And then once we know the broth is right, then we're going to add the shrimp and the crab. Okay?
Sounds good.
Yay! Okay, so now the gumbo is to a rolling boil. You can see that the sausage has risen to the top as well as the chicken. And that's when I kind of know, okay, it's time, because the chicken will sit at the bottom of the pot. And then once it comes up to the top, I know the chicken's done. Okay. So now at this point, what I want to do is we're going to taste this broth. Here, let me give you a spoon. And we're going to just both taste this. And we're just seeing right now if this has enough seasoning or if we need to add anything else before we add the crab and shrimp. So let's just taste this and see. And it's really hot, so be careful. Oh my word. Okay, now I think it needs definitely more salt. So I'm going to go ahead and add, and this is why, if you remember, I didn't put any salt in it. Right? So I'm going to add some more of this Creole seasoning, although it does have a little bit of a kick.
I think I need a second taste.
Go right ahead. And I'm going to add a little bit more garlic. I think it has enough heat. Would you agree?
Delicious, yeah.
So I don't think I need any more pepper, right? I'm going to add some more Old Bay, because once we put the seafood in, that's going to change that. And I'm going to add a little bit more gumbo filet. And I am going to add a little bit more onion powder. Okay. Now I think with adding the Creole seasoning, I don't think I need to add regular salt to it, but we'll do another taste just before we serve it up. Okay, so now let's add the crab and the shrimp. So let's put the crab legs in first, and then we'll add the shrimp. So I'm just gonna put these down in the pot so that they can get all heated up. Whoops, go some ice. And you guys, when you buy your king crab at the store, always ask them for the frozen, because like when I went to get these, of course they had some in the case that were defrosted, but I knew I wasn't going to use them right away, and I don't want those because they've already been sitting out too long. You want to make sure your crab is fresh, so always ask the butcher for frozen crab legs, and then they'll go to the back and get them for you, and that's what you want. Okay, and then we have one more bag of shrimp to add. And you notice that our pot, we started out with not that much water. Now look at where we are with our water line.
Right.
So we would have been having an overflowing pot had we had more water. So now we're going to just let these shrimp cook, and we'll know that they're done when they turn pink. And we're going to just let this come back up to a boil, and then we'll taste the broth one more time just to make sure it's flavored well, and then it'll be time to eat. Okay, Chad, here we are.
Looks amazing.
Done. So look at that. And now we're ready to serve it up. Can't wait.
It's done. It's ready to go.
Yes.
Is that right?
It's ready to eat. Yes. Now I will tell you, the longer gumbo sits, the better it becomes.
Those little smokies are awesome.
You want dark, right?